Hey guys, so today we're going to be walking you through 5 effective backlink building methods that you should use for your e-commerce store. Now, we use these at our agency, however, these are widely adaptable across SaaS, niche sites, affiliate, whatever you guys do. But for the sake of this, I'm going to be using examples in e-commerce, and if you're an e-commerce brand, this is perfectly suited for you, all right? So, a little preface here. So the SEO landscape is changing a lot lately, right? We've got generative AI, we've got people publishing, hundreds of blogs in a matter of minutes, right? Seen some screenshots on Twitter. People are having a lot of success. It seems like in the first 30 days, maybe sometimes less, when they publish a ton of blogs like that, especially if they're like low quality AI with no fact checking and like that. They have a lot of success early on, and then they pretty much die out, right? While everyone continues to look for quick SEO hacks, tricks, tips, whatever you want to call them, to put their e-commerce brand on page one, we're sticking to what works: content and links. I will tell you, the years in SEO, it really does come down to those two things, right? There are obviously a ton of other things that can be done and can be wrapped into it, but at the end of the day, it does come down to high quality content and high quality links, all right? It is oversimplified, of course it is. Don't come for me in the comments. You don't even need to be a genius to be good at SEO, right? Everyone can understand content and links. You just have to be persistent, okay? So there's no doubt about it. It is easier to write great content than it is to build backlinks. Even if you're using AI, you can still publish like 1,000 words of AI and then edit it into your style, fact check it, whatever you need to do to add, like to make it higher quality. Of course it is, all right? But you can't do the same with backlinks, right? There's no fast way to build links, not really. I didn't say it was easy. You just had to be persistent, okay? It is 1, difficult, and 2, super expensive to build really great links. This month alone, I think across like half of our clients or more, we spent probably like $10,000 alone, all right? So it's definitely not cheap by any means. If you're on a budget, there are other ways to build backlinks for your e-commerce store. And in addition to the $10K we're spending, we're also utilizing a number of these methods that I'm going to walk you through to pick up as many other valuable links as possible, okay? I'm not going to be talking about things like the skyscraper method, infographics, competitor like backlink building. Like, those are fine. Skyscraper is really hard. You will not pick up links organically. I don't care what Google or any other SEO, guru or SEO on their like pedestal will tell you. Links cost money. They're hard to get. You cannot just create great content and rank on the number one spot. It will never happen. Okay. Also, those methods aren't scalable, right? Like, you can only create so many infographics, and even if you create 100 infographics, the odds of them getting picked up by other sites are so low. Okay. You might get one backlink from each of these, but the time you invested in them will not be worth the link quality you receive in exchange, okay? Now, the 5 methods I'm going to walk you through, we use every single one of them to build links for our suite of e-commerce clients, all right? There's nothing special about any of them. We just commit to doing them on a consistent basis, right? You may have heard of one or more or even all of these, right? But we're leveraging these at all times, okay? And that's really where it starts to pay off. And if you want to be successful like at anything, really, like, you're not going to find a quick fix, okay? So if you're looking for a quick fix, this probably is not the video for you anyway, all right? But if you want to vote yourself into the number one spot on Google, you will commit to doing them too, okay? So before I get into the specifics of each, broken backlinks, this is not competitor backlink building. It is pretty quick and fixed and like a pretty quick fix, easy win, but that's the only one on this list. Get HARO / Qwoted, link exchanges, niche site outreach, and foundation links, okay? So we'll start with broken backlinks, all right? I said I wouldn't talk about stealing your competitors' backlinks. I promise I won't. This is pretty much a one-and-done opportunity. This has been working for us recently. We're recently working with 2 brands, maybe 3, who recently migrated their domain before working with us, or they migrated from WordPress or Magento or another CMS and didn't address all of the URL redirects, right? So essentially what happens is they lost a number of backlinks. There are also a ton of other 404s that didn't have links, but we wanted to fix those and essentially reclaim the site, okay? This method, depending on the size of your site, can take literally 5 minutes. If you won't even do this, then you will never be successful at building backlinks. This is the easiest method alive to build links, okay? So I'm going to use Amazon.com as an example. I figured with the millions of products, they probably have a broken page or two. As it turns out, they have about 60,000 broken backlinks, all right? So open up Ahrefs, paste your site into the Site Explorer, click on Broken Backlinks on the left-hand menu, and that's it. You've got a list of links, all right? So in this screenshot from Amazon, they have 59,193 groups of links, okay? Now, if you look over here on the right, like these first ones are all to the same URL. Okay, like they're all the same URL. So you can even sort these by just target URL, and then you can just like fix those. All right. So once you have your list of backlinks, essentially you're going to go into your CMS, whether it's Shopify or WordPress or whatever you're using, and then add 301 redirects from the broken pages to the most relevant active pages on your website. Okay. Do not blanket redirect them to the homepage. That is a bad practice. And if you're migrating a site, please do not redirect them all to the homepage. Again, terrible practice. Okay. Determine which page is the most relevant for the redirect. Put it there. Okay. Once that redirect is in place, you will have essentially reclaimed the backlink from the old page. Okay. Again, you won't have 60,000 redirects to add. One, you're not Amazon. You don't even have that many pages. I guarantee it. Second, in my experience, most of the links, like if you have, let's say 100, right? I would be willing to wager that 30 to 40 of the broken backlinks point to probably one page. So once you fix that one redirect, you've reclaimed potentially, 10, 20, 30 backlinks, whatever the case may be, okay? So if you're doing your job as an SEO, you may not have any broken links, right? I mean, if you're like constantly in maintenance of your site, you shouldn't have any broken links anyway. That's like just basic like domain hygiene. So you didn't miss anything. Awesome. This is a quick win. Doesn't apply to everyone, but it's a quick win nonetheless. So once you've collected these low-hanging fruits, time to move on to the actual link building methods, all right? So HARO and Qwoted, all right? These are nothing new. SEOs, brands, PR, whatever, they've been using them for a long time to microdose PR link building for ages, okay? Pretty much the way it works is you get a set of emails from HARO, Qwoted, whatever else you're using, and they serve you relevant pitches they think you might be interested in. You submit a pitch, you might get lucky, you get the link, right? That's how it works. Recently, and if you've been on SEO Twitter anytime recently, you'll see probably a lot of this. People have been spamming journalists on these types of platforms with ChatGPT pitches. Okay, some people have had success early on. Surely, if you can send 100 pitches in a day with ChatGPT versus someone sending like 2 or 3 manual ones, the odds that you're going to land a pitch are astronomically higher, right? However, journalists have closed their metaphorical doors. They're not responding to as many pitches because they're tired of receiving automated, robotic-sounding pitches, okay? Journalists are people writing for people, okay? They want real, like, first-party examples. They want actual human quotes, things like that, all right? So ChatGPT, though people had success in the early, like, months of it, it's starting to die off, all right? But it does not mean you should give up on HARO or Qwoted or any of those other platforms out there like this. They're not dead. They're not oversaturated. We spend dozens of hours each month pitching journalists for relevant links, all right? But if you use ChatGPT, you're probably not going to, you may submit 100 pitches, but you might not get any links in exchange, right? So if you want to cut through the noise and land some high-powered PR links, here are a few recommendations that I would employ you. So pitch it with a branded email. If you're a brand operator, so if you're like an e-com founder and you're watching this, or maybe you're an intern watching this, like SEO got thrown on your plate, or, whatever the case may be, this is easy, right? You already have a branded email attached to your domain. Super straightforward. If you're a freelancer or an agency like myself, either ask the brand to create an email for you or buy an adjacent branded domain and make an email out of that. Obviously, you should get permission from the brand first. But like, let's say you work with brand X and their signature domain or their signature email is name@brandx.com, right? You could just go buy heybrandx.com, again, with their permission, and then create an email. And it would be, name@heybrandx.com, okay? So like, it still looks like, if you're pitching someone, it still looks like you're representing brand X, right? But if I reach out from like my agency email, for example, and I'm saying, hey, I'm reaching out on behalf of X, like they're like, well, are you related to them? Or like, what's the, what are you doing here? So get yourself a branded email. Hey, like something adjacent will look authentic enough. If you're pitching cold email, especially a lot of them, make sure to warm it up. And again, always get the brand's permission before you do this, okay? So you're gonna get emails for each of them. Qwoted is pretty straightforward. I think they only send you one pitch at a time. Like this is one from Qwoted, right? So like I filled out like I'm interested in health, okay? So like they sent me this email yesterday. Expert request from Daily Mail regarding #health, looking to chat with people who have done intermittent fasting and had irregular periods after, right? this was not relevant to any of the brands I work with or any of the personal sites I'm involved with, okay? But literally one at a time, right? And then they just send it to you. You can click on the link. It'll take your login. You can pitch, right? Pretty straightforward. HARO is a little bit different, okay? So HARO, you'll get anywhere between like 50, like this is a HARO email, okay? There was nothing relevant here, so it's in my trash, okay? But they send you an email 3 times a day, like 5:30 in the morning, noon, and 5:45 or 5:35 p.m. I can't remember exactly. Obviously, it depends on what time zone you're in. Basically, like they sort it by field or industry or niche or whatever you want to call it, right? So like, there's a list here. There are 75 in this list, okay? So basically what you can do is just like quickly read through the headlines, like running a business as a solopreneur, right? Just click on the link. It'll take you here, show you the query, the requirements. You may not fit the requirements. Query may be inaccurate. I don't know. Like, you just have to look through these and see. What I would not recommend is scrolling through each and every one of these. All right, that's my next tip, right? So control every way through the email. Just like if you work in the health niche, like let's say you run a supplement brand, okay? Maybe you sell every type of supplement on the planet, okay? So like just control F, quickly look through it. Supplement, protein, creatine, collagen, like whatever, right? Just quickly look through keywords, or scroll to the health and fitness section in that example, right? Scroll to the very only relevant section, and if you don't find anything, just ignore it, okay? Now, I don't check my email all the time. I think I check it like maybe twice a day. I just don't have time to be in my email all the time, right? Same thing with Slack, for example, okay? So Qwoted is going to send you multiple emails a day. Every time there's a relevant pitch, there's usually only one pitch per email. However, they do send a pitch, I think, every 24 or 36 hours, and it basically is like an in case you missed it one. It's like all the pitches that we think were relevant to you that you did not yet pitch, right? It's just like a kind of a wrapped version of those. HARO sends 3 emails a day, Monday through Friday. Each has like 50 to 100 plus opportunities in many cases. Again, I don't check my email more than twice a day. I probably wouldn't recommend you checking it either. I'm certain there are more important things out there than checking your email. But basically, like the logic there is like if you check your email 3 times a day, or you quickly open a quoted email every time you get it, like you're taking your attention away from something you could be doing, something else, right? And like this could expand a little bit outside of SEO, but like if I'm, for example, writing a blog and I see an email come into my inbox, like now I'm distracted. I'm out of the writing flow, for example, okay? So just don't do that, right? I would recommend checking it at the end of the day, okay? The last HARO email goes out at 5:35 p.m. Eastern. So set an alarm for like, let's say 5:35 or 5:45 p.m. Eastern, and then check all of the emails you got from HARO and Qwoted at this point, or a little bit after, right? You can even set a filter so they all go into a folder, and that way you're not like sorting through your other emails to find them. You can just send them all to a folder, then you check the folder, if there's nothing there, then you didn't miss anything. And if there are any opportunities, you can pitch them all at once before you're done with your workday, right? Many of these do have tight deadlines. I think HARO tends to be a little bit tighter. I think Qwoted, like the ones I've at least pitched, there's like 2 or 3 days away. Like I pitched 2 or 3 days before the deadline closed, but I have legitimately seen an email come out from HARO at 5:35 p.m. and then it like the deadline is 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. or 11:59 p.m. the same night, right? So like sometimes they're tight. Unfortunately, you may not see it in time. That's just a fact of it, right? So anyway, just make sure you check it daily, but I check it at the end of the day, and you probably will catch at least like 99% of the pitches. Next thing, I'm hesitant to suggest this at all, but you should use ChatGPT. I know I said people were spamming ChatGPT outputs to reporters. I don't like it. I know reporters don't like it, and we're all here. I mean, I'm here to build links, so I want it to be effective, right? But let's say you're running an agency or you're a freelancer, and you want to pitch like 10 links before the end of the night. Like, odds are you're not going to be able to craft a great pitch 10 times before you end your night, at least like at the end of a workday, and you're probably running out of like energy, like whatever the case may be, right? Like, you're just not going to be able to craft 10 great responses. It's just a fact, right? So what I recommend instead is copy the prompt, like the pitch from HARO, right? And then make a few edits, like here, like let's take a look at one. So spaces in your home you shouldn't use for storage, right? So like this one says, I'm working on a story about spaces in your home you shouldn't use for storage for The Spruce, which has more than 32 million readers a month. Looking for organizing experts to explain what spaces in your home you're storing things but you shouldn't be. No wine bottles on top of fridge, for example, or what not to put in the attic, right? So like your ChatGPT input could essentially, like you could copy this, but I would make amendments to it and be like, I am an organizing expert and I'm writing an article on the worst places to store things in your home, for example, top of the fridge, the attic, under the stairs, whatever, right? Like give me a list of 10 things and give me a list of 10 other places I shouldn't be storing stuff and specifically what I should not be storing and tell me why it's a bad thing. Okay, now you've got 10 outputs. You probably don't need to pitch all 10 to the reporter. Like just pick the best 3 or 4 and pitch those, right? And then you can massage the output with ChatGPT. Like it's going to give you a really robotic output because it is a robot. And then you can tune it to your own style and beef it up with AI or whatever you want to do, right? Okay. You will not get every single link you pitch. I have pitched tons of links and not gotten tons of pitches and not gotten a lot back, right? Journalists get a lot of pitches every day, so you may not always cut through the noise, even if you have a lot of value to offer. This is definitely not for the faint of heart. Like you could very well go like months without getting a single backlink in return. But that is unfortunately just a fact of link building. If you want to step up your game, you can reach out to the journalists on Twitter, IG, or LinkedIn directly. That is if their name is there and you can find it. But I think in many cases they just have like the journalist's first name for obvious reasons. But if you were thorough, you could go find their name. All right. So next one here is link exchange. If you have been neck deep in SEO blogs or forums, like you're just new into SEO, whatever the case may be, or you spend a lot of time just building your website and like checking out Shopify forums or whatever, right? You've probably met some people online. This is a good thing, okay? Link exchange is one of the most common ways to generate free backlinks for your website. And there's tons of ways you can go about it, all right? Facebook groups, Reddit forums, Twitter communities, YouTube comments, whatever, right? Like you guys could literally find a link exchange in the comments of this video if enough people watch it, which I hope you guys obviously do. And there are 2 types of link exchange primarily. There's AB, which basically means website A links to website B, and website B links back to website A, okay? There's also ABC. Website A links to website B then links to website C, and website C links all the way back to website A, okay? You could obviously go like ABCD, ABCDE if you wanted to. The theory behind ABC is that you won't get caught by Google for link exchanging, right? But that's not necessarily true. Link exchanges aren't necessarily a bad thing. I'm telling you they're not. We do link exchanges all the time. And you don't have to take my word for it. Look, Ahrefs ran this study. You can check it out on their site if you'd like. But basically, if you want to highlight this last bottom part here, chart's a bit hard to read on this doc. Keep zooming past it. 43.7 of the results on page 1 out of a study of 100,000 pages, which is an enormous sample size, have some form of reciprocal AB links, right? So basically, 4 out of the top 5 of every top 10 organic Google rankings have some form of reciprocal links, right? Like they're not directly trading, like, hey, you link to this page and we'll link exactly back to this page. Like they're probably, and to be honest with you, like it probably happens organically a lot of times. But anyway, it is hilarious to me that SEO gurus, I won't name any names, preach that reciprocal link building doesn't work and it's a surefire way to get penalized. According to this study, almost half of the websites on the web link back and forth to each other. Now, whether it's, it's like they arranged it or it happened organically, like it's happening, okay? Either way. And you want to know why it's working and they're not being penalized. Because it looks natural. That is what link building has always been about, okay? It is safer to use, like here, think about this. It is safer to use branded anchor text instead of keyword stuffed anchors because it looks more natural, right? You should build links from other sites in your same niche because, again, it looks natural. You should write 10 times better content and acquire links naturally. This doesn't really work. I already said that earlier. You can't just write great content and expect links. It doesn't happen. But again, you get the point. It looks natural, right? Now, you cannot link exchange your way to the number 1 spot, not AB at least. Google will probably penalize you at some point. These are Google's spam policies on link building for reference. Obviously, you can read this up here, but the highlighted part, excessive link exchanges, basically link to me and I'll link to you, or partner pages exclusively for the sake of cross-linking, fall under their link spam policy, okay? It doesn't mean 1 or 2 exchanges are going to penalize you. You could probably do upwards of 10, honestly, especially early on. If you've got thousands of backlinks, like you could do more than 10. Again, 10 is just like an arbitrary number I threw out there. I don't know what the number is. I don't know if anyone knows what the exact number or percentage, like proportion, whatever the case may be, of it is, all right? But if you're just starting out, you don't have any link building budget, right? Like you are just new to SEO, set up a link exchange with another brand or a blogger in your field. It's usually free, and as long as they're in the same niche, it'll be deemed a pretty quality backlink, right? So like you to me, me to you, reciprocal link building is a safe method if it's done early on in your domain's lifetime, right? So like if it's your first 100 domains, link exchanges are totally fine. It's also safer later on. I'd probably just be a little more careful about it. Now, again, like I said, this is an arbitrary, like theoretical limit on the number of reciprocal links you could build. I don't know that number, and I'm sure it varies between websites, niches, whatever the case may be. But as you meet more bloggers, brand owners, whatever, your network is going to get much bigger, okay? You'll meet people across all kinds of niches at varying levels in their like website journey, right? Like you might be people who have a website with like 10,000 visitors and a domain rating of 40, right? You also may meet someone who like runs Forbes, like or is a publisher on Forbes, for example, right? Like your network is going to get huge over time. It's just bound to happen, right? If you're doing your job effectively, okay? As your network expands, you can then start playing around with ABC or 3-way link exchanges. Again, you could do 4-way, 5-way, whatever the case may be. Here's an example, right? Let's say I own a fashion brand, and one of my other friends has their own fashion blog, and one of their friends runs like a mommy blog of some kind, right? With enough content on each domain, there's bound to be a link opportunity in there for everyone, all right? You just have to get creative, okay? The reason like you'd go 4 or 5 is not to avoid getting caught by Google. It's just so you could string enough niches together to make it all like a positive outcome for everyone. That way, like one website's not stretching far out of their niche for a link, for example. If you don't know anyone, start making friends online. It's not hard, right? Like I met people on Twitter, Reddit, whatever the case. Like I've built links all over the place. So just get creative, okay? You can also join a group, right? There are tons of Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit communities where you can post your basic site metrics like DADR, traffic, and niche, and be like, hey, I'm looking for backlinks. Is anyone interested in an exchange? Maybe they'll say 2-way, 3-way, and then like I have sites in niche 1, niche 2, niche 3, whatever the case may be. And then you can start DMing each other and hopefully set up a link exchange, okay? I have built dozens of links this way and plan to keep doing it. It's super effective, all right? Number 4, niche site outreach. All right, so when we start working with a brand who has never done SEO, either they're brand new or like they've just been using paid ads or whatever the case may be, or they used to work with someone who built spammy links. We're working with a brand right now and they built like 2,000 Fiverr links over the course of like 2 years. Like it's a mess, okay? So we're looking to clean up their link profile. This is the method we almost always deploy first, aside from the broken link building, because that's just such an easy win. It's stupid to ignore that one. All right, I'm not going to divulge our entire process or all of our secrets here, but if you are thorough and committed enough, you can put the pieces together and fill in the gaps here. All right, so I'll plug a few tools and show you how it works. So everyone wants to build links from 60 plus DADR websites. Look, I do too, okay, but that's just not realistic, right? There's only a handful of those on the website if you think about all of the websites on the internet, okay? Niche links don't work as effectively as they used to, even though they should, in my opinion. Joe Davies actually tweeted this a couple days ago, and I thought it was great, so I'm just going to throw it in here. I like all links, but if I programmed the search algorithm, I'd reward the most sites that had regular contextually relevant mentions or recommendations from bloggers, not the sites with the most CEO quotes or stories in the Daily Mirror. I don't know when it happened, but I think like Google at some point just got away from like really contextual links, right? If you were doing SEO purely organically, like following the spam policies, you would have primarily niche relevant small DADR links. That's just the case, right? But with different link building techniques, whatever the case may be, like 60 DA links work. right? As long as they're valuable, like as long as they're like legit links, they work, okay? So anyway, tangent aside, if you've never done link building and you have a tighter budget, you can't afford those kinds of links, right? Like you can't afford a link in Forbes or the New York Times, or unless you're excellent at PR, like, and again, that's a pretty intensive process as well. You're probably not going to land those links, right? So niche outreach could be your strategy, okay? The goal is to build tons of links from lower DR sites just like yours. They're typically more responsive to outreach and generally lower in cost. Great for you, okay? At a high level, here's how it works. So you build a prospecting list of sites in your niche. I use app.contentcurator.com built by Alton. This is totally shameless plug. This tool crushes it. I met him on Twitter. I got access to the beta version, and we've been using it all the time. Like we actively use it for our clients right now. Built well over 100 backlinks with this as a starting point. Basically what happens is you enter your niche and sub-niche, and then the tool spits out a list of websites that have content related to that topic, okay? So this is just a sample output. I literally ran this a couple days ago for one of the brands. They're in the fitness niche, right? So you can see here, medical health was the top level niche, sports was the sub niche, and then like second level sub or third level sub niche is physical therapy, okay? It doesn't have every website on the internet. That's fine, but there are 84 opportunities here, right? And I think we ran this report for this same website like 12 other ways, like pretty much other variations of sport, because they fit along all sports. Like their product serves everyone in sports, okay? But now you have a list of 84 websites, right? And now you just have to reach out to them, right? So you can do it manually. You can scrape the sites for their email address, set up a cold outreach campaign, like cold email, if that's your thing. I mean, if you're doing it at scale, like that's for sure the way to go. We do manual outreach so that we can individually tailor our pitches to the brand. We almost always take like a PR-based approach as opposed to like, hey, looking for a guest post or looking for a link insertion, right? More like, hey, we're looking to promote our new product. Like, are you interested in a collaboration? Like, you think that'd be something that would work, right? And then you start negotiating, okay? Links do cost money. From sites like these, they're lower in cost, like 50 to 150 in my experience. Not all of them are great websites. You'll have to disqualify any websites that are spammy, too expensive, irrelevant, whatever the case may be. I think I've got a short on my channel that shows like how we qualify or disqualify backlinks. It's like a 6 or 7 step QA process. I'm going to be dropping a video on that in the future at some point, a little bit more in depth with more examples. But basically, it's like, is it in your niche? Is the traffic like is it not like, it's like traffic like US based, like in our case. It's not a link farm. There's been no Google penalties, things like that. Like there's other points there. You watch the video. Anyway, so that's that, right? So that's fourth method. Fifth method is foundation links, all right? So this is actually a really good gem I found from Gareth Boyd on Twitter. I think probably about a week ago now at the time of recording. I DM'd him. He was kind enough to let me include it in this video. So shout out to him. Give him a follow. He's got some sick stuff on Twitter. We're actually working on a few projects together at the moment and excited to share those results with you guys in a couple weeks, I hope. You can click on the thread here if you're looking at the doc. I've adapted the content a bit and used a different example. I'm actually using a competitor of one of the agency or one of the brands we're working with. So that'll be fun. Pretty much the goal outcome of this method is that you'll find the most important backlinks that your competitors have built. And this is actually a really unique angle. The fifth step in here, whatever the last step in his method is actually like definitely the most important one. So stick around for that. No more sifting around through like thousands of spreadsheet rows. These are the money-making links, okay? So I'm going to use Birkenstock.com. I'm working with a shoe brand, and Birkenstock has a big fat target on their back at the moment, painted by me. So I'm looking to take them down. So if I were doing this, right, this is essentially reverse engineering their best links, okay? So open Ahrefs, plug your competitor's site into the Site Explorer tool. Click on Referring Domains under the Backlink section on the left-hand menu. You're going to add some more filters. Select backlink type and then in content, right? So if you're looking here at the screenshot, you can't see, but it's in here, the domain, I mean. You're going to add more filters, backlink type here on the drop-down, and then it's going to be a second drop-down that's going to like collapse, and you'll click in content, right? So now you have a list of backlinks that go to, in this case, Birkenstock, that are only in content links, right? So like they're not like a banner link or a nav link or like whatever the case may be. Like it is an in content, natural looking link. Okay, so basically like this sentence is a backlink. Backlink is obviously the in content anchor text. hyperlink to your competitor site. Again, in this case, Birkenstock. We don't need all these domains. Like in this one, there are almost 20,000. I'm not looking through 20,000 rows. You aren't either. Don't lie to yourself. So you're going to set a few filters to drop that number down and also filter out the ones you don't like or care about. Okay. So you're going to have the do follow, domain rating greater than 30, and domain traffic greater than 1,000. Now, if you are a brand new site, and I do like less than a year old, and like you've kind of been touch and go on SEO, like you have like maybe 1,000, 2,000 visitors a month, like truthfully, you might like the 10,000 one's going to be pretty far out of your range in terms of like an exchange or paying. But you can really adjust, you can adjust all these numbers, right? I would probably keep the DR rating at least above like 25 or 30. So you filter out a lot of the spam. But you could easily adjust the domain traffic down to like 5,000. What I would do though is make sure, like if you're reaching out to a domain, like make sure it's not just like one page on their website that's getting 5,000 organic visits a month, because that's not going to help you out very much, right? So do your due diligence and go from there. Okay. Then you're going to sort by oldest to newest. So this is actually an angle I never thought about, but he pointed out, and like I said, never considered it, but it's brilliant. All right. So sorting from oldest to newest shows you the valuable backlinks that your competitor acquired early on in their lifetime, right? These are the ones that drove growth early on, right? So these are like I said, these are your gold mine, right? Essentially, like if you can think about like incremental growth, like it is so much easier to move from like 0 to, let's say, 50, or 0 to 50 is a quick growth, right? Like you're moving 50% more or less, right? It is much harder to move from like 80 to 100, right? Like the gap, there's more competition, the gap is smaller, but it's more saturated, whatever the case may be, right? So by sorting in reverse order, you're going to find the links that help your competitor get from 0 to 50 quickly, right? So yeah, build those kinds of links and you'll catch up to them so much faster, okay? And then outreach, right? Same deal as earlier. Outreach manually or launch a cold email campaign, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever your poison is. Either way, you have to put the work in to build these links. The lists mean really nothing without outreach, right? So you've got all these link building methods now, tons of ways to find prospects, but really, like, as I just said, the lists mean nothing if you don't actually talk to these people, right? Like you have to formulate relationships, to pay money, you might even have to put in some other work to get a link. But if you're serious about building links, like this is unfortunately the way it has to go. All right, so we hope you learned something today. I'm going to be a little bit more active on this channel in the future, so stick around for more link building, content writing, other general e-commerce SEO tips, and I will talk to you guys soon.